What's going on, y'all? This is Mike Styles, and I'm back with another episode of the Mike Styles Experience. I want to thank y'all for checking me out. I really appreciate it. Wanted to get down to it, just right down to it. And this episode is titled, What You Say Has Consequences. I wanted to do this episode, which it was based off a series of incidents that occurred where black people have had the police called on them, or you have these what do you call them, Karens and Kens calling the cops on everybody. And one incident in particular, which happened, I think last week or last Friday or so, you had an encounter where Dre Abram and his roommate, both of whom were black, or who are black, were filming for Abram's YouTube channel. They just had moved from Michigan to Scottsdale, Arizona, and they were filming in the neighborhood of Old Town Scottsdale. And this 74-year-old Asian man by the name of Paul Ng, he walked up to them, and the two brothers, they're like, "Why are you coming over here?" And Ng, he stated that he wanted to see what they were doing. And he also stated that they've had problems in the community. And, for me, when people say shit like that, that to me, it's like that typical racist response, and you kind of know where things are headed. I feel like that's the typical racist response when, people think that black people are somewhere where black people shouldn't be. They say, "Oh, we've had problems in the community." But here's the thing. Abram asked Ng, "Do you know a lot of white men are doing racist things in the world?" And Ng replied, "No, but I'm a racist. This is a no nigger zone." And I swear I can't make this shit up, but I wanted to include the audio here on the show. I reached out to those guys, but I guess I didn't get a reply. But what I'll do is I'll put the link up in the show notes. I think where you can find the whole exchange. I think it's going to be a link to one of those guys' Instagram page. But anyway, Ng's employer, Russ Lyon Sotheby's real estate agency in Scottsdale, they released a statement about the incident saying that Ng has since been fired. And this is the statement where they released saying, "Upon learning of this video, we took immediate action in severing his license, terminating his involvement with us effective immediately, and condemning his disgusting behavior." It says that Russ Lyon Sotheby's International Realty does not tolerate racism or discrimination of any kind, never has, never will. In addition, we are notifying the Arizona Department of Real Estate of Ng's behavior with the recommendation that his license be revoked. And Ng was later arrested on disorderly conduct charges. So there it is. But when will people realize that in this age of technology, nothing you do and say is secret anymore? There's always somebody with a cell phone or some kind of recording device. And the thing is, words, just like action, they have consequences. Sure, you might have the freedom to say and do whatever it is that you want, but that freedom isn't exempt from the consequences. And that shit can come back and bite you in the ass. The First Amendment, people always talk about that shit. The First Amendment protects individuals, and it allows freedom of speech, religion, assembly, press, and the right to petition. But the right to freedom of speech, it's fallen under scrutiny lately, because some individuals believe that freedom of speech means that they can say whatever they want without having to endure consequences. Freedom of speech does not exempt us from suffering consequences on the basis of something we say. Everybody's entitled to be able to voice their opinions, ideas, views without interference from the government. But once those statements that are voiced, once they condone some form of discrimination, racism, homophobia, whatever, at that point, one also, they can't expect people not to voice their opinions back, or call these individuals out for their negative comments. Individuals, they're free to voice their comments on any social media platform, but they should also expect that they may face possible backlash if the comments that are made are derogatory or racist, homophobic, whatever. And so individuals, they have to understand that regardless of having the right to freedom of speech, there are limitations to what can be said. I think one of the best examples of this is, you can't go in somewhere and yell fire. You can't walk into a crowded place like let's say a sporting event, movie theater, nightclub, and yell the word fire. And that's because the word fire, it incites chaos and disorder, which can lead to somebody being injured. If somebody were to yell fire and there was no actual fire, then, they will face legal consequences. But for some reason, you have a bunch of these assholes who like to believe that they're protected and they can just say whatever dumb shit that they like. And then they lose their jobs and their livelihood. And then it's only then when they're called out, only then are they sorry and they want to cry. Now, in this particular incident, this dude was a real estate agent. And one has to wonder, how many black people has this man discriminated against when it came to housing, which there are laws against. And so if something like that can be proven, if they go back and look at like some of his old files, if something like that can be proven, then he's going to have to face the consequences as well, for those particular actions. You see, the way we talk and the words we use, they both have positive and negative consequences on the people we interact with on a daily basis. And so it's important that we remain mindful of our speech and choose our words carefully whenever possible. I mean, if not, you can find yourself going viral for all the wrong reasons. Don't be the next motherfucker on TV crying, boo-hooing, and weeping because you lost your job. You lost your business. And in some cases, you lost your family behind some shit that you said. Now, another thing, people just need to start minding their own business. Stop being so fucking nosy and calling the cops for everything. Stop trying to be like fucking neighborhood superhero, And what gets me is the people that always confront. They always want to, confront and approach people that they don't even know. That's some real bold shit. You know what I mean? And then when something pop off, they want to act like a concerned citizen or play like they're the victim when they're the ones bothering people. So whatever happens is all on you. Now, I'm glad this shit is getting called out. Hopefully people with the same mindset will think twice before they attempt to walk up to total strangers and just let some dumb racist shit fly out of their mouth. They can't hide anymore, and I think they just can't help themselves. But that's how I like it, put it all out there in the open so we can catch your goofy ass on camera. And so if you own a business, you're not going to have a business anymore. You're not going to have any more customers. If you work at a job, somebody going to drop that footage off to the CEO or vice president of the company and then asking them, hey, do you know you got a racist working for you? Don't think that there won't be any consequences. Just because you get away with it now, that doesn't mean that you'll get away with it forever. And for all of you folks out there that want to say that this is like trying to censor somebody, no, it's not. You see, when being called out due to hateful rhetoric, people are not trying to promote censorship. Individuals are entitled to not tolerate hateful rhetoric, and they're entitled to say things against it. You see, what we gotta remember in this country is that the First Amendment, and this is just my understanding of it, because I actually read it. But my understanding of it is that it was created in order to encourage the flow of ideas and communication between people without having the government interfere. You know, the First Amendment, it doesn't protect individuals from being called out by others. You know, it doesn't protect people from facing a backlash of the community. And honestly, I would like to believe that people are tired of it, no matter who it's coming from. You know what I'm saying? You know, people are no longer willing to just look the other way and put up with it. So the best thing for you to do is, if you enjoy having your business or job, keep it off social media, keep it in your home, keep it around the people who agree with you, or keep it in your head and keep it moving. Because I think most people these days are like this popular slogan where I'm from in Atlanta, which says, Atlanta, the city too busy to hate. There's no time for it. And dude was lucky, because I know some cats that are straight up ruthless, and the old man probably would have gotten his head knocked off or something worse. That shit would have been instant karma. So that's just been my 2 cents that I want to kind of throw in about that shit. You know, what happened down there, it was very disturbing. But at this point, we can no longer be surprised that there's people out there that exist like this. You know what I'm saying? But what we need to do as a people, you know, if we want to kind of stand in solidarity, we need to, you know, start calling these folks out, you know, put them on blast, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's what a lot of people have been doing, you know, because everybody's tired of all this bullshit, because that's exactly what it is, you know. You know, people are like, you know, people are just done with it, you know what I'm saying? And we should no longer, I guess, or we shouldn't be surprised, and we shouldn't be naive to the fact that people like this still exist in America. And don't be surprised that he's Asian. You know what I'm saying? You know, but you know, like I said, that's been my 2 cents on the whole situation. And I just wanted to kind of drop this episode and get it out the way. Just kind of let you know what my thoughts were. Because I actually, when I woke up this morning, I saw the story. It was something that happened, I think, like last week, but the shit has gone fucking viral. And whatever little company that he was associated with, I guess he was outside actually, like blowing, I guess, like the leaves or whatever in front of his business. So that particular business, I guess everybody kind of assumed that he worked for that particular business, but he was actually, I think, living in like an apartment above the business or something like that. But, you know, I mean, at this point, like I said, I'm not surprised. You know, this shit, it happens every day. You know what I'm saying? When you live in America, you know, you're marked as a black man, or just black in general, you know, you're marked. Your black skin makes you a target. And so that's what we have. But like I said, you know, in order for people to be against it, I think we need to go ahead and keep putting these fools on blast. Because they're not hard to find. You know, that's the crazy thing about it. Like with the internet and technology now, shit, nobody's hard to find unless you just live totally off the grid. Because if you use technology like a computer or social media, whatever, you're not going to be that hard to find. And that's what happened in this case. You know, the two dudes, they popular YouTubers, and the shit is going viral, you know, all over. It's not like the old days where, you know, you have to wait like for the newspaper or the regular news on the television to get the word out. Word travels fast. And especially if you say some more racist, homophobic, crazy shit, you know, it's going to travel faster than you think. Like, it's kind of like bad news travels faster than good news. And with this technology, man, that should have, man, you'll be famous, or should I say infamous, in like a day. Probably not even a day, like hours, maybe even minutes. You know what I'm saying? So that's been this week's episode. This is an extra episode I wanted to throw out there. But until next time, man, take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Remember, words have consequences. And I'll see y'all on the next episode.